Good morning, everyone. Sister Candace, growing in grace. Every part is needed. That's our title of our devotional for today. Comes from 1 Corinthians 12:22. Nay, much more, those members of the body which seem to be more feeble are necessary, and those members of the body which we think to be less honorable upon, those are bestowed more abundant honor. Every one of us has a vital role to play in the work of God. Every one of those roles, no matter how large or how small it may appear to be, is important. We live in a society that glorifies all things that are most noticeable. But in truth, without each of these parts, the world would not be complete. When we are tempted to think no one will notice if we slack off because our job isn't that important, we must remember that God has designed and equipped each of us for a role no one else can fully play. God's plan for His work calls for us to be faithful to carry out our assigned responsibilities. Today's growth principle: God is looking for those people who are faithful to play the role in which He has placed them. My question to you today is, what is your role? What has God called you to be? And He calls all of us to be a witness, but in different ways. I believe that, God has called me and gave me a talent to sing. I'm not a speaker, I'm not a teacher, but I do love doing the devotionals. And I know that I have had several comments that my devotionals help you. I'm so thankful. But to God be the glory. Nothing goes to me. It all goes to the Lord, because He's the one that gives me strength to work through the grief and to do what He's called me to do here on YouTube. Some days are harder than others, but I try to do what God has called me to do. And I think a lot of times we're just scared to do what we think God has called us to do, because we're not comfortable in it, or we don't think we're good enough, or, you just have a doubt that God can use you. That's the thing. No matter how we look at it, if God has called us and He's using that, then it's going to touch somebody, no matter what we think, no matter how we look at the situation. Like my grief has touched several people. I've got emails where you've lost a loved one, and my channel has helped you. That was the whole reason my channel was started, was because of grief. And I'm 6 years in, and it's by the grace of God that I've come this far. But I want to say that I appreciate my new subscribers, the ones that have been with me from the beginning, the ones that came in the middle, and the ones that are to come. I appreciate each and every one of you. Most of all, I appreciate your prayers. So as I always say, know that I love you. I'm praying for you, but the Lord loves us so much more.